Welcome to Spoop Squad, the podcast that watches horror films that go flop in the night. I am your spoopy host, Jared, and I'm here with...
What it do, man? I'm Nick.
And I'm Nathan. I'm loving this energy you're bringing tonight.
You know, I'm really intrigued by this philosophy of what it do.
Well, I don't think we can get into that in this episode because it's about a movie.
That didn't do.
That movie did not do.
It did not do.
Spoilers.
So this movie is Curse of the Witch's Doll. It's from 2018. We watched this movie on Hulu.
Yes.
It's got a pretty good rating, 3.4 out of 10. So, you know, it's up there.
It's in there. It's a rating. It has a rating.
It does have a rating.
I didn't know where to go. It has a rating.
It
in there.
is technically a rating, yes.
It exists. Hey, Nick, why don't you hit us with that synopsis?
After a series of inexplicable events, Adeline Gray believes a haunted doll possesses the soul of a vengeful witch. To have any hope of being reunited with her missing daughter, she knows she must defeat the evil curse of the witch's doll.
No, she doesn't.
Well,
Does
according
she,
to the
though?
synopsis, yes. However, according to the movie...
The movie itself, no.
Or maybe it did.
I mean...
No.
Adeline's only in the first two acts, so
Yeah.
the third act has nobody from the first two acts.
Well, there's a
And then the fourth and fifth act has like nobody. So let's go ahead and do the one good thing.
I want to go first.
Then go first.
So my one good thing is the liquid that the doctor drinks. What's his name? Dr.
Arthur?
No.
Yeah, Arthur.
Arthur's his name?
Arthur's his first name. I can't remember his last name.
Oh, not important. So Arthur drinks this yellow liquid that looks like piss. And he keeps it in a decanter on his desk.
He's got that piss water.
He gotta drink that piss. And that was endless fun for us while watching it, because every time we drink it'd be like, piss, nummy, 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 nummy.
And then he takes a pill.
And
We're like, oh, he's condensed it to pill form.
Need that piss fix.
Nick, what's your one good thing?
I thought it was kind of cool when they were trying to like build a suspense. They used like the raid sirens from like a bombing raid in World War II, kind of like as sort of like background music to build up the suspense. It didn't really work, but it was kind of a cool attempt.
It was
So
neat.
your one good thing is that they tried.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, give it a shot. Hey,
All right.
sometimes, I mean, you gotta, you're never going to know if, you don't play or something profound. Hold on, I'll get it. Let's try again.
That's about as profound as you can get, Nick.
I mean, it is a movie that was made.
Why? Nailed it.
So my one good thing is actually the doll that they used. It is
Awful.
terrible,
It's terrifying.
but it has some awesome silver eyes for some ungodly reason. I have no idea why.
And no lips whatsoever.
No lips, and
All
it's like,
teeth.
yeah,
This doll is a bad blowjob. No lips, all teeth.
that does sound like a bad blowjob.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. That's the one good thing that I have is the doll itself,
Okay.
which is a different doll from the poster. I think we found out that there's two different posters for this movie, right?
Yes. There is one that looks like a completely different movie because it has a different little girl and a completely different doll, which to me was scarier.
Yeah, it looks a lot better.
The doll that they chose to use for this movie, on the other hand, like it's something you would find in like an oddity shop, but it's not scary. It's just ugly.
Yeah, it's just hideous. Nick, why don't you go ahead and give us a kill breakdown?
Woo! Let's do it. All right. So number one, about 20 seconds in, the witch dies, which I would assume is the witch that then
Possesses
her spirit,
the doll.
Yeah, possesses the doll.
I would
she
think
dies.
so.
Yeah, one would assume that tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then number two, Dr. Powell gets stabbed by Dr. Arthur. We're not sure if it was a pen, a scalpel, or some mixture of the two.
I think it was a mix. Definitely,
It's definitely a scalpel pen.
I think that's way
TM,
cooler.
TM, TM.
Can I change my one good thing?
No.
to scalpel pen.
To scalpel pen.
Scalpel pen.
Scalpel pen. This is the instrument of the future for doctors.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it saves time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they can cut and then flip it over, dip it in the blood, and right.
Well, you also
Yes.
only have so many pockets, so this saves space.
Save space on pockets. You only have so many pockets.
That was so bad.
You got the 2 in the back of the pants, the 2 in the front of the pants. You got the 2 on each side of the coat. You
And
got the
then-
1 on the top of the coat on the breast.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is a kid's show.
Yeah.
Talking about breasts. Inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, it's more space for, like, clown noses and things like that doctors carry around.
This isn't Patch Adams.
I wish it was.
No, well,
It'd be a better
Yeah.
movie.
Patch Adams was scarier than this movie.
so number 3, Dr. Arthur, who previously killed Dr. Powell, he was mentioned. He dies, probably, because we don't really see him die, but the theory is that the doll kills him, but they don't show it. He just kind of sees the doll, and it slowly looks at him.
Yeah, it slowly turns its head and it creaks. Its head makes the sound that the girl from The Grudge makes.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Okay, and then coming in at number 4. Woo, it's the last one. The boyfriend. Oh, this is the time loop. The
Sam.
time skip. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was
My bad.
75 years later.
Boyfriend Sam. He dies, but you don't really see that either. He just
You
see
don't.
his
You
hand
see his
up
hand.
against the glass
He's bloody.
Yeah.
of like a window, on a door, and then he's bloody.
But we got to mention, though, that him and his girlfriend go to the asylum 75 years later to do a ghost hunt.
Which they definitely could have made this cooler if they had done it found footy.
I don't know. I think that moving over to a found footage all of a sudden would be... I think it would just make this movie worse.
Like, most of this movie felt like the weirdest episode of Downton Abbey that you've ever seen. But if they had changed the end of it just a little different, they went 75 years into the future from where they were.
Yeah.
So why not change it up a little bit? Hey, there's this technology. They did like one shot with it, and then they show him walking around with the camera. There were definitely scenes where he held the camera up to look into a window. What if they showed the footage that he hadn't gotten to review yet, and it showed the doll moving?
Okay,
Or like
I
a shadow
I
moving
see what
in
you're
there.
saying. I just think that moving from one shot style to another, like at the very end of a movie, is a little bit weird.
I mean, I think that it.
I mean, look, to be honest, you couldn't make this movie any worse.
That's what
So
I'm saying
fuck
is-
it, let's try it.
I mean, they could
given it a
have.
shot, give it a shot. Maybe it would have worked. Maybe it wouldn't have. But like you said, it couldn't be any worse. So
Yeah.
I mean, it could have.
I feel like everybody listening to this episode right now is like, gee, I wonder where they're going to rate this movie.
We're gonna rate it, and that's for sure.
Yes, you
Don't
will
worry.
get a rating at the end.
I'm gonna M Night them.
You're gonna knight him.
No, M Night them.
Well, this movie tried to M Night us 3 times.
Yes, and none of them worked.
None of them worked.
So let's talk about a couple of them. What was the first one that we get?
Oh, it was the Shutter Island.
Oh, yeah, they tried to fucking Shutter Island us?
Yeah.
No,
They were like-
thank you.
They were like, oh yeah, we're just going along with her delusions, but really she's at this asylum this whole time.
Yeah, like at the beginning of the movie, she is walking in the woods with her daughter, and they both have luggage with them. And then the guy who ends up being Dr. Arthur Harper is his last name, ends up like meeting them out in the woods and then like, brings them to this mansion that they're going to stay in. And it just was really weird because he was basically telling her what she could and could not do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's this fucking old white guy?
I hated it. I hated this part. It's just the beginning. So the beginning has so much promise, and they've already let in that with that there's going to be a witch's doll, but then they reveal the doll way too early.
Way too early and like in a shitty CGI.
Yeah. Well, what they didn't do was go, okay, here's the little girl, and she's going to play with this doll. she's going to find this doll in this old manor, and then she's going to play with it, and then it's going to turn evil, which would have been a more interesting story. What they did was the girl was sitting there, I don't know, writing, drawing, or something.
Yeah, something.
And also, that's interesting that the girl's time alone would have been part of her Adeline's delusions.
Yeah.
Anyway, not that that's any of my business.
You're
Because
delusional.
If they're really focusing on her delusions, then they should have followed her around, and things only appeared when they were around her.
Right.
They shouldn't have focused on characters that we find out later aren't real.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
They try too hard
So when
to
they
pull one over on you.
Yeah, and so when they do the twist, it's not a twist. They just been straight up fucking lying to us.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Fowler. I did it. That got real aggressive.
It did, but fuck him.
But fuck him anyway. No, but I mean, dude was they just lied to us in their storytelling. But how the doll appears is that the girl is sitting there writing or drawing or whatever she's doing, and she hears like laughter, and then she turns, and then the mom walks into the room, and here's this scary ass doll across the table from her, and she starts talking to her. Oh, who's your friend? What's this? Tell me about her. And she's like, I can't talk about her. Well, who told you something or other? She did. And then the doll just disappears.
And nobody fucking reacts.
Yeah, nobody reacts.
Like everybody's just okay with this doll appearing and disappearing.
Yeah.
It's like David Blaine.
This doll definitely David Blaine them.
But people definitely react when he disappears.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they overreact.
Well, no, I think, magic is pretty cool. We should cut this. I have no idea where I was going with that.
I thought you were going to catch an idea, and I was like, let's see where this is going.
So one thing that I want to bring up specifically is the paintings on the wall all had glass over them. It's like they were old oil paintings that were supposed to be like original to the house. I think this house was supposed to be built in like 1660 or something.
Yeah, or even before then. I mean, it's just super fucking old.
And it was like, why do these paintings have glass over them? It was ridiculous.
Because that's not something that they would have done by like 1942 or 43, whenever this is supposed to be set.
Yeah. You know what it felt like, though? It felt like they just got posters off of Amazon and just put them up on the wall. And we're like, yeah, just put them in like a poster frame and that's it.
Yeah. That's another thing, too, is that because it very much calls out the set itself, because they didn't make the set a character. They didn't make the house kind of spooky, because they're in this haunted house that is haunted by this doll that is haunted by this witch. So they didn't try to make the setting scary at all.
So I'm sitting here thinking, if this is all a delusion and the doll is in this delusion, how is there even a doll there? Like, what is this doll doing specifically while she's in her own head and in her own delusion? How is this doll interacting with her?
Okay, so what was the doctor that got stabbed?
Powell.
Dr. Powell called out. He said, there are all of these cases of these people, and they're all having delusions about this doll. And there are people who have been coming here for Dr. Harper to treat them, and apparently he has this doll, and he's been doing secret experiments on people. And when it goes the wrong way, he gives them a lobotomy. Now, that is not something they straight up tell you. You have to infer all of this. Because while all of the conversations in this movie were way too long and didn't go anywhere, there are little bits and pieces that you can pull from them to actually piece together a story.
I think they were trying to tell themselves what the story was in their own shitty dialogue.
Do you think that they just told? Well, there was when the cop went and spoke to Dr. Harper. And
Wait. So conspiracy theory time.
Conspiracy theory time. Okay, what do you got?
The director and the writer told the actors, hey, make up whatever you want and surprise us, and we'll try to piece it together at the end.
I have nothing better, so I love it. I'm here to support you.
Thanks.
It sounds fair.
Thanks.
I mean, this definitely feels like every interaction feels like one of my characters from D&D going shopping. I like to go into shops, and then I like to get to know the NPCs whenever I get a chance, and I have these long conversations because I'm testing the DM's patience. And that's literally every conversation in this movie is them testing the audience's patience.
There was almost no emotion in any of the actors in this movie. Like, they just were all so... I mean, maybe that's what they were going for, because she was supposedly going through some sort of traumatic experience.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
But guys, here's what's fucked up is that we are still in the first twist.
Oh, yeah.
Because out of nowhere, you're getting this, I don't know, this story about this mom and whatever, and then this doctor comes out and he's like, yeah, so your daughter's dead and you're making it up, you're delusional, and you're Mary. Surprise, you're Mary, you're not Adeline, and this is all a mental institution. Surprise, we Shutter Island you.
It really annoyed me when they did that. Because
you specifically called out, they just Shutter Island us.
I was really upset because she's having delusions, but then chooses to go back into them. And so I was kind of like, okay, first of all, fuck you for this. But this is something I'd actually I was curious about. But then they're also like, yeah, we're not going to go into that anymore because here comes twist number 2.
Well, and here's the thing, too, is they're like, oh, yeah, she's going to get lobotomized tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then never come back to this.
Well, she's also not in the movie anymore.
No, she's done. Like, and she goes into her delusion to say goodbye to her delusional her delusional daughter and husband.
No, she went back to live with them again. Like she completely embraced the delusion. That's what they were talking about.
No, at the end of it, she was saying goodbye to them, and then she was fine. And the other doctor saw that she was fine. And that she was improving. It's literally the last scene with her. It was her putting her daughter to bed, and then she turns around and she's gone, and she kisses her husband goodbye.
I believe you 100% because I know this movie could not hold my attention, so I probably just missed all of that.
Yeah. So she was getting better, and that's why Powell was fighting for her to not get lobotomized in the morning.
Good guy, Powell.
Yeah, such a good guy. But then here's the next twist is Harper is subjecting people to his evil whims with this doll, but that the doll is also haunting him.
But also, like, what's the point? What is he just like,
I'm
a psychiatrist, and so I just want to see how a cursed doll will fuck with people mentally? I mean, you would think.
Yeah, there is no explanation for this. This whole middle part right here is garbage.
Also, why does the doll just kind of leave him alone until it decides to kill him, too?
It's just, there is no explanation.
Was it like feeding a bear? It's just going to leave you alone until you're the last thing for it to eat, and then it kills you?
Maybe.
I don't know anything about raising bears. Is that how it works?
I don't know. I've never raised a bear myself.
Me either.
And then there's the scene where he's holding the doll, and the doll makes the grudge noise as it turns its head, and its eyes are glowing, and then it just cuts and goes 75 years later, and that's where we have
boyfriend Sam
and girlfriend Anonymous,
Julia.
When I went on IMDb to try and figure out who these people were, most of them didn't have pictures, so it was just their names. It made it really hard to figure out who was who.
Yeah. Julia Gulia, that's funny.
Emma, maybe? Was that it?
Yeah, it's Emma.
I want to think she was Emma.
Not a lot of women in here. The daughter was Chloe. Then there was Adeline, who was also Mary. So this has to be Emma.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there was one other. The woman that, what's his name, was talking to, Harper was talking to, Doris.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Doris.
And then you had like the big shadow over here on her right side.
No, that was her head.
It was the shadow from her head, from the lighting. You could tell because she would move her head, and the shadow would move with it.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was this big weird shadow over here on her right side.
Yeah, they definitely filled up most of the screen with that shadow.
Yeah, because I said, I feel like that shadow's there for a reason, because I really thought they were going to try and jump scare you out of it, but nope.
No, not at all.
No payoff.
Because you were expecting it.
Well, This is where the cinematography was just so great because it misled you, and you thought, no, wait,
Was it though?
no, it was on a level that you're not ready for.
Yeah, terrible. I'm never ready for terrible.
That's fair.
So what about this one point in the movie where Adeline is in one of the rooms in the house and she just witnessed like doors slamming in her face.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden Harper comes in and says her name and she freaks the fuck out.
Yeah, that's the only time she got scared.
The only time.
She has been because this is when she was chasing the doll.
Yes.
And then the doll started chasing
Well,
her.
she was chasing the doll and her daughter.
Yeah. But then there was like the scary, the quote unquote scary witch.
Yeah.
Because what was it? The East Wing is where all the other patients were.
Yeah, and she wasn't allowed to go there.
So, oh no, I was gonna say maybe she just was like pretending she didn't see the other patients, and that's who was closing the doors. I don't know. That would have been a little better than
I don't know.
Than
No,
her
she's
just not being
she's
afraid.
delusional, so her delusions are going to make anything happen.
Well, yeah, but I was saying like maybe she just doesn't see the other patients, but they were all locked in the East Wing, so it couldn't have been that. I was like, that would have been. I think
they
that would have
kept
been a
her
little more
pretty
interesting.
separated from everyone else.
So was it maybe whoever he was having the doll haunt was in the rest of the house, like where she was?
probably.
I mean, would the doll just avoids the East Wing?
Yeah, because the doors are locked.
Well, that's that's how curses and stuff work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a doll.
maybe they put salt
In the
door.
doorway.
At the doorway at the East Wing?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Does any salt work?
theory.
Do we know?
I have no idea.
Does volcanic salt work?
Maybe.
Pink salt?
Yeah, definitely.
Kosher?
No.
Yes.
Wait, now we have conflicting reports.
So there was this one continuity error that I noticed immediately. Whenever Adeline is going to tuck her daughter into bed, or no, it wasn't. She wasn't tucking her.
She
into
climbed
bed.
into bed
She
with
climbed
her
into bed with her
because she was worried because this is the night after they had the doll just disappear on them in the library.
Right. And so she climbs into bed and she hears a noise. It sounded like footsteps on hardwood floor. She sits up. She is clearly on, if you're looking at the bed towards her and her daughter, daughter's on the left, she is on the right. And then the witch doll jump scares you. And then all of a sudden it's flip-flopped. She's on the left, daughter's on the right. And then the very next scene, or the very next shot, it's back again to where the daughter's on the left, Adeline's on the right.
Yeah, it is bad.
It's really bad. There is one question that I have
Okay.
that has been bugging the shit out of me since this movie. They go into how many days missing this girl has been. Because Chloe at one point goes missing in the woods, and it goes like 1 day missing, 2 days, up to 7 days.
7 days.
So they're basically just lying to you on the screen.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like, okay, so if this girl is really a delusion of Adeline, then why the fuck are you focusing so much on how long this girl has been missing?
Yeah, they lie to you. It's not, they don't Shyamalan you. They just straight up lie to you.
Or was it misdirection?
Misdirection.
It's not.
It's not.
No, it wasn't. It
It's
was
not.
Yeah, it was a straight up lie.
Yeah, no, this is just a straight up lie.
Yeah.
So fuck it. Let's just go ahead and rate this movie.
Yeah, I'm ready to just rate it. I wish this episode was funnier. But this movie just did not give us a whole lot to work with. Just a lot of us being irritated with it because it's just so bad.
Just makes no sense.
Yeah, and so
it follows these lines of what they're trying to do in a very shitty way.
each act does not line up with the act before it.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, when you're watching this movie, it seems like it was actually about 3.5 hours instead of the 1 hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 95 minutes, I think is what IMDb says the runtime is. And it's just, it's not, y'all. This movie takes you in a time warp.
It does.
And it absolutely fucks with your brain. And
well, it lies to your brain.
It lies to your brain, and it makes you think that this movie is way longer because it feels way longer.
Nathan, why don't you go ahead and give us your rating?
I don't even want to fuck around. No skulls. No skull from Nathan. I've said a lot about this film, and it's terrible, and I don't think anyone should watch it. Don't watch it with your friends. If you want to enjoy this movie for the only enjoyable thing about this movie, watch the trailer for it. Because the trailer for this movie is hysterical.
The trailer had us rolling, and that's why we watched this movie. And it just like the movie, it lies to you.
It lied to us. Nick, what's your rating?
I'm going to give it a skull. Except it's a lie, just like this movie, and it doesn't deserve a fucking skull because it was trash, and I hated it, and I can't get that 95 fucking minutes back.
It was more like 3.5 hours.
It was like 7 hours. It was 7 days missing.
I think you're delusional.
It was a time warp, just like in the movie.
Just like Gehenna. Anyway, somebody somewhere will hear me say that and go, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, Jared, what is your skull rating?
0 skulls. Obviously, this movie is total shit.
It is a pile of horse apples.
Look, I mean, they tried. I guess they tried. So
yeah, it's bad. I have seen your dog take more interesting shits.
I imagine that being on the set was like watching the Discovery Channel and watching a dung beetle roll shit into a ball.
That's what they do.
Yeah, because this movie was just, a ball of shit.
Curse of the Witch's shit ball. Hey, Jared, what's our next movie going to be?
Our next movie is going to be Bad Apples from 2018.
Nummy. Thanks for listening, guys. If you want to join in the conversation, if you want to just, let's all get together and shit on this movie on Facebook. And you can find us there at facebook.com/The Squad Podcast. And you can also find us on Twitter at Spoop Squad.
I hope you spoop your pants.
Me too.
Woo.
Dad, I'm hungry.
Hi, Hungry. I'm Dad. The podcast where nerdy dads talk nerdy fads.
We talk life, entertainment, and give advice to those who never asked for it.
Like anytime I do anything, my brother calls me a thought. What do I do?
Or best college degree for a supervillain.
So go smash that like button.
Find us wherever podcasts live.
Where's that, Jared?
A magical place called the internet.
Like Spider-Man and Elsa shipping videos.
Dad, I'm hungry. Wait!
Forge Audio.
Dream it.
Build it.
Share it.